Welcome to episode 15 of the Unstoppable podcast with special guest John Holowaty. My name is Dan J. Gregory and I am committed to hunting down the secrets of business mastery and human performance. My goal for the Unstoppable podcast is to share insights from some of the most successful entrepreneurs, inspiring thought leaders, world-class athletes and prominent celebrities to help you to become unstoppable in business and life. Each week I'll be bringing you a new interview with an inspiring person and sharing my own results as I pursue the answers to the question, how can I create the ultimate edge in my business, make a significant impact and live an extraordinary life? Welcome to episode 15 of the Unstoppable podcast. Today I'm with a good friend of mine and seven-figure entrepreneur, John Holowaty. I'm here in the Range Rover with John Holowaty in a secret location somewhere on the M40.
It's like we're having an affair.
We are, yeah. Our partners don't know where we are. It's all very secretive. So real pleasure to have John with me. I've known John for about 3 years now, I think.
Yeah.
Classic story of meeting him at the early days of business, and I walked away and did something different. John went away and made seven figures, and it was a bit like the story of digging for gold when you're almost at the point where you make the breakthrough and find the gold. I was the one that walked away. John was the one that carried on. So really excited to be hearing John's story today. John, if you wouldn't mind, just give the listeners a bit of a context to who you are and what you do.
Yeah, cool. So I'm a network marketing professional. I basically use my mobile phone as my office, my car, my sofa, my sun lounger, anywhere in the world. I mean, that's what I love about the world that we live in today. It's literally, it's you can work from anywhere. Like, as long as you got a bit of Wi-Fi or 4G, then you're good to go. So I would say, I help people get where they want to be. I help people dream again. I help people I show them a vehicle and I show them a system of how to get what they really, really want that they haven't been able to get yet. Now, not everyone's money mad. Some people are just freedom mad. And that's kind of me, to be honest with you. I guess I'm more about the freedom. Like, money's great. Money obviously gives you freedom. But, I'm not I'm not a flash guy or anything like that. I just I'd wear flip-flops every single day if I could, if it was warm enough. For me, I just love the element of like helping people be free, work where you want to work, with who you want to work with, whenever you want to work. And, we were just having that discussion then offline and about work-life balance a little bit. And the beauty of what I do is I can work whenever I want. If I'm like, I'm done with this day today, I can cut it off and I'm like, I'm out, I'm in the gym, I'm in the sauna, steam room, chilling out, I'm taking the dog for a walk or whatever. So I guess that's what I'm doing at the moment, just living the dream, living my dream, which is the most important thing, I guess. Awesome. So thanks for sharing kind of what you're at now. And it does sound like the dream, but I guess it hasn't always been this way. Can you tell us a little bit about how things got started for you, how you discovered this business and a bit about your journey? Yeah, how far do you want me to go back? I mean, I can go back I've probably changed so many times over the last probably 10 years. I'll take you back to when I was a uni student. So at school I was all right. I remember the first year at school I was in all the top sets for everything. And then I realised that it wasn't really cool to be the top set guy. So I started hanging around with all the clowns and I ended up being in the bottom sets the year after. And I had a much more fun time, right? But my grades weren't very good. My mum and dad were really disappointed in me. Caused a lot of aggro in the household. I know when my mum came back from parents' evening, after first year, she was blown away by how well I was doing. After second year, she came back and had a breakdown in front of me. She was like, "What's gone on? What are you doing?" And I was like, "I don't want to do it. I don't like school." And I did like it, but I just like the social side, which is kind of trained me for what I do now, because everything that I do is about socializing. I'm a very social person. I love meeting new people. So school, I just did enough. I just did enough to get my A-levels, to get into sixth form. I just did enough during my A-levels to get into university. And then here's where the absolute, we're all lazy. There's always a lazy guy or girl in us trying to keep us on the sofa or trying to distract us. That's what I believe. And you've got to fight those guys inside you so you can get on in life. But I kind of let my lazy my lazy personality take over me. So I ended up failing first year. I'm embarrassed to say this. I failed first year at university 3 times. So I went to one university, I got kicked out at Christmas for not going in enough. I used to get a girl to sign me into all the lectures, and I'd just stay in bed. I'd play like Pro Evolution Soccer till 3 o'clock in the morning, Football Manager. I'd go out and drink with the boys and the girls and stuff, and I'd never go to lectures. Left at Christmas, was a postman for a little bit, worked behind a bar. Then I went back to university again to do sports science. Same thing happened. Really, really lazy, didn't turn up to lectures, but I didn't get kicked out this time. I did my exams and got the worst results ever. I remember sitting in the exam going, man, I don't know any of this stuff. Like, what are the answers to these? It was luckily one was a multiple choice question. If it wasn't, I probably got no marks right. At least I could guess some of them. Do you know what I mean?
And the other one was about Pro Evo.
Yeah. If it had been about that, I'd have probably done all right. So the third year, I went to a different uni again. Obviously, my parents were kind of going crazy. You're building up loads of debt. What are you doing with yourself? You're a waste of time. And at the time, I think this is a trap a lot of young people fall into. They think they've got time forever. So I was like, I'm cool, I'm 20, you know, I've got no worries, I've got loads of time to make it. It's totally fine. And that was a big mistake, to be honest. Anyway, went to uni the third time. Same thing happened again. Different uni. Got kicked out at Christmas. And then the fourth year, I went back and my mindset had totally changed. I met my girlfriend and I kind of realised that there was more to life than just prattling around and being lazy and playing computer games and procrastinating. And it was almost like I had a bigger reason than myself to do something. Now I've met my girl, it was like, I want to be a success for you. So that's probably just a nugget that I'd give you guys that are listening to the call, is like, when you realise that it's more about other people than yourself, then you'll start to change. So I guess I'd start by thinking, like, who else are you doing this for? Whatever you guys are doing, entrepreneurship and stuff, who else are you doing it for other than yourself? Because when you're just doing things for yourself, you're not really accountable to anybody. It's like, whatever, it don't matter. And that's where I was when I was failure. And then when I was doing it for someone else, I was like accountable. I was like, I want to get this girl the best things. I want to take her around the world. I want to do cool stuff. I don't want some other guy pulling up in a Ferrari next to us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm getting out of a Toyota Yaris, which is what I was driving at the time. Like, just reminded me of a grape on wheels. It was purple. And anyway, so I went back. Luckily, I'd passed a couple of the exams the year before. Passed that. Got my degree. Got a 2-1, which was pretty decent. Sports science and coaching. Thought I was going to go into strength and conditioning or PE teacher. Again, applied for university late. Didn't get in the teacher training course. Got accepted but got put on the waiting list. I was like, damn, what am I going to do? I love training. I've always gone to the gym since I was about 14 years old. I remember going home, right, here's the deal. What can I do? Personal trainer, that's it. Mum, can I have a chat? Yeah, what is it? I want to be a personal trainer. There's a course online for £2,000. I haven't got the money. Can you lend me the money? And I remember the conversation like it was yesterday. And my dad was shouting from the kitchen, don't you dare lend him a single penny. He's a waste of time. You'll never get that money back. He'll never make any money. And my mum lent me the money, God bless her. And you know what's ironic, chatting about that, this weekend it's my mum's 60th birthday. So I'm going to be treating her. She doesn't know this. She won't listen to this podcast, I don't think. Maybe she does when she's a secret listener. But I'm going to treat my mum. We always wanted to go whale watching when we were younger. Nice. And she loves Canada. So I'm going to fly us business class to Canada. We're going to go watch the whales in Vancouver Island and do some cool stuff. And kind of say thanks for all the nonsense that she put up with when I was younger. And you know, giving me the money to kind of get started with my personal training.
Absolutely.
So, you know, that's what making money can do for you. Give it back to your loved ones and do cool stuff. So, then it went to, as we just watch a dog take a pee in front of us in the services. As we go back into kind of the story, it then led me into personal training, working for myself, being self-employed. I remember someone saying to me, you're the master of your own destiny now. You're in total charge of whether this works or whether it fails is down to you. And that's the same for everything. But when it's your own business, You got to make a success. And I had to pay rent at the gym, £500 a month. And I remember my first month, I hustled like I'd never hustled before. And probably another tip for you guys is like, I totally immersed myself into what I was doing. It was personal training. It was connecting with people. It was saying hello to every single person in the gym. Even if I was pissed off in the morning or having a shit day, I was like, I'm going to say hello to everybody. Like, I'll bounce out of my car and I become an actor straight away. I'm in. Nice. Like, I'm the happy dude. I'm like, hey man, how's it going? You all right? You know, back in the car, I was tired. I was yawning. Do you know what I mean? Yep. And then as soon as I'm in the gym, like, hey, how's it going? How's your training? Blah, 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 blah. And I just kind of became this personal trainer superhero. Like, when I put my personal training uniform on, it was like that. Now it's time to play. Do you know what I mean? And I know a lot of successful entrepreneurs do the same thing. And that was me. I hammered it, worked my butt off. And I remember kind of discussing it with my parents and discussing it with other people around me in my circle. And it was like, they gave us a system to get clients. So they wrote it, they've been successful. And I remember saying, I'm a bit like worried about how am I going to do this. And I remember my mum said to me, look, they've given you a system. If you hammer that system, if you work really, really, really hard on what they've told you to do, it's got to work. Yep. Otherwise, they wouldn't have given it you. They're not going to give you a system that doesn't work.
Yeah, it's not their interest.
So it must work. So I was like, okay, cool. So if I do this personal training thing and I hammer it and I do exactly what they say, then it doesn't work, then it ain't my fault. And I can look in the mirror and I can go, you know what? I gave it everything. I left skin in the game, as the saying goes. You know, I gave it everything. And that's what I did. And luckily it kind of worked for me. Started to get clients. You know, I had a few bad experiences with people saying they couldn't afford it and it was a rip-off and stuff. But, you know, you have to battle that. But I think, you know, again, like just going into it, like a lot of people have the system. A lot of these guys that are listening to this today, a lot of you guys will have the system already. You're just not putting enough effort and time into it to make it work. So
I think, you know, one thing you said about immersing yourself, I think people often, when they've got a system, it's almost like the light bulb goes off in their head that they found something magical, but then they start looking for something else because they fear what it could do to their life.
Yeah, there's something in that as well. It's like the distraction. So they're like, oh, if I hammer this and I become really successful, I might lose my partner, or I might not see enough time with my kids, or do you know what I mean? Or I might get distracted from something else. And that is there, but you know what? It all comes down to what you really, really want and how much you want it. And I just hustled and I wanted to be a success and I saw an opportunity and I ran with it. So I became a successful PT within that gym, kind of got more ambitious. First time in my life I'd ever been successful in anything, to be honest with you. And I thought, wow, I can really do something. You know, it's all right, people saying that you're going to do it, but when you start to believe in yourself, like truly believe in yourself, you do become unstoppable. And you know, to go by the name of the podcast, and that's what it's all about, becoming unstoppable in your own mindset, that nothing's going to get in your way. Like, you believe 100% that this is going to happen. And I kind of started to get more ambitious, and I was like, right, if I can make a success of this, it's all about building blocks. If I can make a success of this, then I can build on that, and I can make a success of something even bigger and bigger and bigger. So then I opened my own studio up, and I was doing boot camps and all that kind of stuff. It didn't really go to plan as well as I thought. I mean, you probably asked me about some dark days and stuff, and there were a couple. Really, I could really go deep on it as well, into like the raw stuff, but I'll just flip it back into kind of my story. So I kind of hit a ceiling. Yep. You know, my income levels weren't really going to take me where I wanted to go to. I was working 60, 70 hours a week.
Wow.
You know, never had any time off. And I got involved in personal training to kind of be free and all that kind of stuff. And it gets pitched as a glamorous industry, and it's brilliant. It's a beautiful industry, but you got to work so hard, and it is irregular income. It is unsociable hours. So I started to look for something else. And you know, you're all magnets. You know, you guys listening to this, you're all magnets. You all put out vibrations, and whatever you put out is what comes back. And the reason I found something that changed my life was because I was looking for something to change my life. Nobody ever stumbles into something that they weren't looking for. Very, very, very rarely. Subconsciously, you were probably looking for it. Absolutely. And I was putting it out there. I was online. I was looking for ways to make money, and I stumbled across network marketing. I stumbled across an amazing product that I believed in, that made total sense to me. It's like, of course this is going to make me feel better if I take it.
Yep.
I'm getting up so early. I need something. I've got a nutritional gap. I'm starting at 6 in the morning, finishing at 10 o'clock at night. I'm not getting enough sleep. My energy levels are depleted. Of course, this product's going to make me feel better. So I believed in the product massively. I believed in the business opportunity. Again, it lit me up, like no investment, risk-free. No stock, no delivery. Having been a postman for 6 weeks, the last thing I wanted to do was start delivering products to people's doors and stuff. So it was like no delivery, no investment, no stock, online business, and this is just kind of when Facebook was getting going a little bit. I wasn't even on Facebook at the time. Maybe I was just actually thinking about it because I had my personal training business, but it was just about when Facebook was getting going. It was kind of when Facebook was at the point where you didn't really need a page to get loads of views on your profile. Do you know what I mean? You could sell. Facebook weren't being as cute as they are now. Do you know what I mean?
Days.
Yeah, the glory days where you could put up a post and get 10 sales. Yeah. And it was kind of there and then, and everything's about timing, if you spot an opportunity. And it was when the recession was going on, and Jim Rohn says it all the time, it's not what happens, it's what you do with what happens. Most personal trainers were moaning and groaning, going, there's a recession on, no one will pay for personal training, I'm going to reduce my prices. Once you do that, you're on the rocky road to destruction, because everyone starts competing on price and you lower the value of everything. Then one person's charging 20 quid an hour, then it goes down to 10 quid an hour, then it goes down to 5 quid an hour, and before you know it, you're training people for 50p. So I found a gap where I was like, people want to make money, they want to look good, they want to have fun, they're going out and partying at a weekend. Why not make money and party? You're going out every weekend spending £200 a night. Why not do that, but make money and create a culture? So I just kind of spotted loads of opportunities to do stuff and ran with it, and it went viral, it went crazy. We kind of awoke a giant within our industry, and we created a network marketing revolution. That's my page, by the way, on Facebook, if you want to go and like it, John Holowaty Network Marketing Revolution. We created a revolution in the UK now, which is going crazy. I mean, there's people that have gone on to go and work in different companies that were mentored by me that are making massive successes. And I'm not putting that all down to me. They've obviously got some amazing skills, but what we did within the UK, we put network marketing on the map. And it's incredible. It's an incredible industry. It gives you a chance to dream again. We all kind of have our dreams beaten out of us when we're at school. And you've got ambitions. No one ever says when they're at primary school, when they're dreaming big, what do you want to do when you grow up? And they go, I want to be a driver for UPS,
Yeah.
Or I want to clean toilets, or I want to be a waitress. Like, everyone's got really big dreams. And then as you go through school, your dreams slowly and surely start getting chipped away and chipped away and chipped away. And then you go into the careers office at 16 and they ask you what you want to do. And you're like, I want to be a joiner. I want to be I want to work in a factory. And it's like, what happened? What happens here? So I used to watch MTV Cribs, and I used to still dream at 16. And I'm like, I don't know. I don't want to be a teacher, really. I want to do something big. I want to change the world. I want to help other people, and I want to do cool stuff. So network marketing gave me that opportunity. It gives everyone that opportunity as well.
So let's talk about that then. So you said early on that you had a big dream, and despite everyone in school saying you need to do this and these kind of things, or these kind of jobs, you had a bigger dream, but then you had this kind of stagnation period at university. What was it that, I know you obviously said that meeting a girl changed your viewpoint on how, give you some certain different reasons to do things.
It can motivate us, right, guys?
Absolutely.
It's like when you're at the gym, if a hot girl walks past, you always bang out an extra 20 press-ups.
That's exactly it, yeah. But what was it that really switched on your kind of desire? Because it was a big shift between, repeating different years at university to then really immersing yourself into PT. Aside from meeting the girl, what was it that gave you the belief and the confidence in yourself to really go after your dreams?
I just think, like I said, like the initial part of having some success. In network marketing, we always say your first great leader is your hardest one to get. Once you get your first good one, you go, wow, if I can get one good one, I can get two good ones. If I can get two good ones, I can get three good ones. It was the same with me. It was like, as soon as in personal training, I started to get a little bit of success and get some clients, I was like, wow, I can do this. I mean, Like, go back to when you first learned how to ride a bike. You know, there's trepidation, you're frightened of falling over, you're frightened of not braking properly, and then when you start to get the hang of it, you like start pedaling faster and going down bigger hills and taking more challenges. And that's the same in business. It's like, once you get that confidence, once you get that belief in yourself, once you're like, I'm stable, I ain't going to get hurt, nothing's going to happen to me, then you start to grow and grow and grow and pedal faster and faster and faster and gain momentum in whatever it is that you're doing. So that's what I would say. I kind of say to the guys listening is, get momentum in your belief as quick as you can, so you really start to believe on your building blocks in your mind of your belief systems of what you can achieve. And you know what? You can achieve whatever you want.
So you've talked about the success you've had, which is, you know, it's really created a movement not only within your own company but within the UK and further afield, no doubt. Talk to me about some of the challenges, some of the biggest challenges you faced on your journey. You mentioned some of the dark days. Let's touch upon some of the things that kind of challenged you initially on your journey.
Yeah, cool. I mean, I think sometimes I believe that you've got to hit rock bottom sometimes before you can climb your way up. And I remember my darkest kind of time. I was in network marketing. It wasn't going very well for me. I wasn't earning much money. Kind of spread myself too thin. I had all these ideas on what I was wanted to do, but I wasn't really doing any of them well. You know what? The majority of them I was doing poorly. And it was December. I can't remember what year it was, but if any of my old PT clients are listening to this, they'll know when it was. And I had a gym, I had my own studio, and it had no insulation. It was like a greenhouse in summer. It was 100 degrees.
Wow.
And then in winter, it was like a freezer. So you could never win with it. If it was and if it rained, it'd get like loads of condensation in there. So it was a joke. And the other funny thing about it was there was like 5 kebab houses behind it, and in the evenings they used to crank up the ovens and the room would stink of kebabs and stuff. It was horrific. So this one winter I was low on clients. I was probably only training 10 people a week. I had debts up, I was in debt up to my eyeballs. I had more outgoings than incomings, and the gym was freezing, and then we had the worst December snow ever. And
I remember
clients were cancelling. You couldn't get on the air. The planes weren't taking off. People couldn't get to the gym. Everything just shut down in the northwest of England, and the majority of England, to be fair. And my gym was freezing, and I made my way down there. Now your landlord isn't going to go, "Hey John, I know it's snowing, so you don't owe me anything this month."
Yeah.
There's no landlords out there that are that generous. And I remember like being nowhere near where I wanted to be and being like, wow, this is just not happening for me. Everything that I wanted isn't happening. And a really good friend of mine, one of my best mates and a mentor to me over the years, said to me, he came in for some personal training with me, and he was like, wow, you're just not yourself. And I think sometimes you need your mates. Like, talk about association. You got to hang around with great people to be great. If you hang around with losers, you're going to be a loser. And I was lucky. I had a really good friend there, and he was totally honest with me. And he said, John, you're a magnet, and at the end of the day, you're attracting negativity. Look at your energy levels. You're not yourself. And I'll be honest with you. He said, if you weren't my best mate, I probably wouldn't have told you this, but I wouldn't want to train with you tonight, to be honest with you, because you're just putting out neg, and I don't want to be around that. I've come here to be, built up and be positive and motivated. Be trained and be motivated. And I was like, wow, that kind of knocked me back, and it made so much sense. And I knew what he meant, and so on and so forth. And then there's always defining moments in your life. Obviously it was December, it was Christmas. My brother asked me what did I want for Christmas. I said, can you get me a book called The Secret? Wow. I was going to buy it for myself, but you might as well buy it for me, because there's nothing else that I really want. And that Christmas he gave me The Secret. I put it next to my bed, and we had Christmas Day at my auntie's, and I got hammered off red wine. And I just started, I remember we were at the dinner table, and I just started crying and getting really, really down and depressed, and my bills I just started thinking about everything negative. It was ridiculous. Bit embarrassing, to be honest with you, but I remember just totally breaking down at the dinner table. And I remember my auntie saying to me, I don't know what's going on with you at the moment, but you're clearly not happy. Whatever's making you feel like this, you
need bad gravy.
Yeah, it was the dinner, it was horrific. She said, you need to get rid of it. And I was like, I don't know what you mean by that, but I don't think I need to get rid of it. Maybe it was the negative thought or whatever. So I remember going, right, I remember going home, reading The Secret after I'd sobered up, and and the hangover had gone, and I started doing vision boards. I started putting, things out there. I did a fake bank account. I put that on my wall, which came true a few years later, and did loads and loads of stuff. I did a no chart for my business. I read another book called Go for No, which just blew my mind, and I was like, now I'm getting it. And I really switched my thought process on, stop focusing on what you don't want and start focusing on what you do want. And I just started putting them vibrations out there that I want to do this. I want 40 clients a week in my studio. I want 50 boot camp members. I want my network marketing business to be earning me $1,000 a month, and so on and so on and so on. And I just started putting out there these vibrations and these thoughts, and it was everywhere I looked. It was my screensaver on my phone, what I wanted. I listened to personal development or loads of hip-hop music in my car, and never had the radio on, because the radio was just telling me about how bad the recession was and how in debt people were. And I just thought, no, I want hip-hop music where rappers are talking about cars and holidays and boats and cool stuff. So that motivated me. And then I had my personal development on, Tony Robbins, Jim Rohn, just the magic of thinking big, all these great audiobooks. And I just started filling my mind with positivity, and whenever any neg came around or kind of doubts from other people, I'd cut them off. So I really reduced my circle. It was very, very tight, and it was only around people that believed in me. And my dad's pretty, he kind of taught me out. He'd always find a way of putting, and that's not a criticism of him, it's just the way he is. It's like he'd always find a way of finding something bad about an idea or a reason it won't work. So kind of had to distance myself from my parents for a period of time, because their worry for me was holding me back.
Yep.
They were only doing it from a place of love, like they cared about me, but that love was they were surrounding me with negative thoughts and doubt. So I cut them off. I only surrounded myself with people that whenever I said I was going to do something, they were like, yeah, you're going to do it and you're going to be successful. And that's what started to happen. And I had a tipping point. My business started to grow, and I was like, finally, this is where I'm at with it all. So
awesome.
Yeah.
I think when it comes to family and other people, they've come from a different paradigm. They've got so many different associations. They grew up in a different era where things were very different, and it's very difficult to accept when you've got your nearest and dearest who are saying things like that. I've experienced that in my own life, and you just have to take a step back, not take it personally, I think, and just realise that it's just their upbringing, their associations, and it's not personal.
I think there's a difference as well, like between them and negative. Like, there's negative family members, but then there's negative friends that don't really have your best interest at heart. But your family members, like, I can cope with my dad being negative about what I was doing, because he wanted to be proved right in a way, but he also had a fear of me messing up, And the same with my mum. I remember my mum saying, stop doing all these network marketing meetings. It's not going to work, concentrate on your other business. I'm like, Mum, trust me, it's going to work. No, but I'm worried. And that's why I'm worried that it's not. So then that puts doubt in your mind. So you have to cut yourself off. And I had to cut myself off from my parents a little bit, just to keep my circle tight and keep my mindset strong. And obviously it worked out.
So when you started expanding your vision, I know a lot of things, for many people, first of all, is finding the vision is people's number one challenge. But once they found that vision, they start expanding possibility for themselves. It often brings up fears and limiting beliefs about themselves and what they can achieve. Have you ever experienced anything like that when you started to experience your higher vision? Did fear play a part in your journey?
I think everything comes down to this like thing, what if? So you can either think, what if it fails and I look like a plonker? Yeah. Or what if I make a mess of it? So a lot of people don't take action because it's what if it goes wrong. So I remember when I was a teacher, I had an observation, and I'm crap at like lesson plans and all that kind of stuff, but I'm great in front of people. And I remember reading or hearing something, and it said something like, an exam is an opportunity for you to prove how good you are. And that just went into my mind, and it was like, so that was totally different to then thinking, what if it goes wrong? What if I make a mess of it? This is an opportunity for me to prove how amazing I am, how good I am, how confident I am, how great a teacher. So you can do that with your dreams as well.
Yes.
This is an opportunity to prove that I can get this stuff nailed, and I can do it, and I can prove to myself that I can do it. And There's a great audio series, really deep psychology by Dr. Maxwell Maltz called Psycho-Cybernetics. I would recommend it to anybody listening to this call, and it's all about the power of visualization. And when I listened to that, I wrote out kind of the superhuman John Holowaty. What would the superhuman John Holowaty look like? And obviously I'd be a little bit taller if I could, but that isn't possible. So I wrote down what if I could be anything, like as a personality type, what would I be like? And I wrote things down, like I kind of created a computer game figure as me.
Yep.
So I wrote confident, funny, cares for people, is trustworthy, can be trusted, and all these things down. And it used to be next to my bed. I used to think, if anyone finds this, they're going to think I'm an absolute lunatic. But it was kind of like me creating the perfect me. And then what I used to do is I used to shut my eyes before I went to sleep and imagine what that guy would be like. And I used to watch myself in my mind doing that stuff, driving the Range Rover, getting on the private jet, speaking in front of thousands and thousands of people at events, and people coming up to me saying, you did amazing and I'm inspired and thanks for your help, and, all that kind of stuff. And, like I said, when you're a magnet and you start putting that stuff out there, it starts to flood in, and it started to grow and grow and grow, and ideas started to come into my mind. I did have a kryptonite, which is alcohol. That is a big kryptonite of mine, or was. I've kind of got that out of the system now. Did a lot of partying. That kind of held me back for a long time. But what I do every year is a 90-day detox, starting in January. And I did it last year. I'd done one before that, the year before. And I think for me, cutting out the toxins, whether it's mind toxins or physical toxins, you need to get those out of your body. Not everyone's is alcohol, some's is procrastination and negative thought, but mine was alcohol, which was leading to those things.
Yes.
So it was the root cause. And once I gave up that, wow, I feel amazing now. I'm like 60 days in, I'm clean, I'm training, I'm like 22 pounds lighter.
Wow.
I'm fresh, and I'm like, my mind is trained like an athlete.
Super.
Entrepreneurship is like being an athlete. You don't go into a fight if you're a boxer, having drank loads of booze, watched loads of TV and been really negative thought. You go into the ring as a competitor, ready to do battle, and that's what you've got to do in business.
Wow. So when I'm really interested in this Super John principle, and when you wrote out those characteristics, was there any point when you were reading through those things there where there was a voice in your mind that was like, BS, that's not who you are? And did you have to have that internal battle? Is that something?
No, because what it was, I knew that I wasn't some of these things, but I think I had little bits. So like, if you go into this superhuman character who you're creating yourself, if you think about it like a computer game, when you're creating characters on a computer game or something, you've got at least a marker on everything. So it might be confidence, I was like 2 out of 10. Trustworthiness, I was maybe 7 out of 10.
Nice.
So I was like, right, I've got the cheat code now. I'm going to create this superhuman John Holowaty. I'm going to raise everything up to the top marks.
Amazing.
So it wasn't like me doubting myself, because I was creating a character that didn't exist. So there was no doubt. It was creating a character to aspire to be. And then what I would do is I would imagine myself as that character. And like I said, going back to putting your PT uniform on is when you step into this superhuman personal trainer guy that's in the gym.
Absolutely.
So that was the same thing. And it's like try and be that guy every single day. All right, of course you're going to have your dark days. You still have them now. Of course you're going to have your days when you can't be bothered. Of course you're going to have your days where you go, I want an extra hour in bed, or I just want to shut my phone down. I ain't going to lie to the guys on the call and say that doesn't happen to me, because of course it does. Everyone's cape needs, dry cleaning once in a while. It's like you've got to have a break, you've got to chill. But if you can be like the majority of the time, 80% of the time, 90% of the time, that superhuman character, it will happen. And your subconscious mind doesn't know the difference between what's real and what's not real. So I'll just tell you from a book I read, they did an experiment on a guy who was disabled, and they got him to imagine playing tennis.
Wow.
And they did brain analysis on him, and it stimulated the brain, which stimulated movement. So the brain actually thought that he was playing tennis.
Wow.
So he imagined running for the ball, hitting it, and the brain started to spark up. Now, the connection was wrong because his legs weren't, connected right, but his brain was still active. So if you think about that stuff, that's like, wow. So my mind doesn't know what's real. So if you imagine yourself walking on stage and absolutely crushing it, guess what's going to happen? You've already crushed it before you've done it.
Absolutely.
So then when you do walk on stage in the physical form, you've done that presentation a million times in your mind before, so of course it's going to go well. Like, people say to me when I've spoke at massive events, man, you nailed it. You were so confident. You killed it. Like, that was unbelievable. And in my mind, I'm thinking, well, of course I did, because I'd done it about 20 times before.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That was like a repeat. I've been laughing at those jokes myself.
yeah, for days.
Yeah, exactly.
In the mirror.
Yeah, so it's like the same thing, when they say actors practice in the mirror. All right, I've never stood in front of the mirror and done it, but I've lay on my bed and I've shut my eyes and I've gone through it in my mind over and over and over again. And even when I'm driving, I'm thinking about what's going to happen. And, I've got some massive goals going forward. And I'm driving down to meet you today. I've been imagining that stuff. I've been seeing it in my mind's eye, in the vision, and holding it there. And
so that dog taking a pee was your fault?
Yeah, I didn't know about the dog. That wasn't meant to happen. But there you go. There's always something, and always a little. Maybe we attracted it. I don't know.
I don't know what we did to do that. So tell me. So obviously you spoke about how your drive was stimulated by meeting your girl. What's driving you right now? What's your driving force? Because obviously your vision is expanding and you're doing great things. What's at the core of your driving force right now?
I think for me, like I was talking about this the other day, it's like there's people listening to this call now that don't believe, or have got people around them that tell them that they can't do it. So I'm doing it for those guys. I'm doing it to prove to people what's possible. And there's a great line, Jim Rohn, I love his stuff. It's so cool. And if you guys haven't listened to him, then you must do it. But he says this: I'm not saying that you've got to go out and make loads of money and do loads of cool stuff and grow and all that. I'm not saying you have to, but here's the question. If you could do better, should you do better?
Wow.
If you could do more, should you do more? If you could earn more, should you earn more? That's all I'm saying. And when I heard that, I was like, yeah, I'm not playing full out here. And I don't believe I'm anywhere near my capacity of where I need to be or where I want to be. So I've got some monstrous goals, and it's like, I know I'm going to achieve them. I just know, because it's already happened in my mind over and over and over again. I'm just not there yet. And it's kind of like a great thing about Alex Ferguson, and he nicked this off somebody, but in one of his books he said, Man United never lost. We've never lost. Manchester United have never lost a game of football. We just ran out of time.
Wow.
And I'm like, boom, that is the sort of thing. I mean, I don't know whose quote that is, but it's like, that's the way I feel. Like, we've still got time. We're just not there yet. We're just not there yet. We're just not there yet. And that's where I'm at the moment with my mindset. And I'm doing it for the people that have been told it can't be done, in hope that someone comes up to me one day and says, because of you, I took action. Because of you, I ignored the doubters. Because of what you said, I changed my friend group. Because of you, I stopped going home as much because my parents were negging me out. Because of you, and I heard you on the Unstoppable podcast, I've created a 7-figure business, or I get to spend more time with my kids. That's kind of enough for me. I don't need any more money. I'm pretty happy with the money that I'm making. The money's just a measuring stick of the amount of people that you serve and you help and you inspire. And you know what? If I didn't earn any more money now, I'd still continue to do what I'm doing.
Wow. Just
for the fun of like helping other people and proving what's possible. And that's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah, I guess my whole purpose behind this podcast is really making people like yourself. It's so easy to look up to successful people and say, oh, they had this special advantage, or they were born with this special gift or the special talent, or they were born into wealth. The point of this podcast is to not look up to people, but look into people, just to give them that belief that they can do it too. It's easy for anyone to read a book and say, have a vision, but the difference between having a vision and then making it happen is actually doing the basics every single day and having that vision and locking into it and believing it's going to happen and seeing it over and over again. I think many people, they'll learn new techniques and they'll read about vision and they'll read about goal setting, but the problem is they're not doing the work. So what is your advice? Well, in fact, not your advice. What are the kind of daily rituals that you go through to keep you on momentum?
I'd say on that one, like, don't have the vision, be the vision.
Wow.
Do you know what I mean? Like, be the vision. Like, you've got to act the vision. You've got to be that person. I watched, I was flying to Thailand the other week, and I watched a documentary on Cristiano Ronaldo. Now, this guy is like, I was talking about the Superhuman John Holowaty. He plays the perfect, like, if you know that film Iron Man.
Yeah.
He basically plays a robot. Cristiano Ronaldo is a robotic footballer. Everything that he does every single day is about being better at football. Nothing else. All he cares about is being better at football, and he basically cuts out all distractions. Like I was saying, he only spends time with his son. And when he's with his son, he's playing football, or he's in the gym with his son, or he's in the recovery pool with his son. He's just doing loads and loads of stuff that allows him to kind of be better and be the best. And he keeps himself 3% down in weight because he knows it'll affect his speed because he's getting older now. So everything that he does is he tries to be, make himself the perfect footballer, and that's all he's interested in about. So he's living his vision. He's living that vision of being the number one, being the best. And he's had Messi on his tail. They've been going back and forth about who's the best footballer, and it's hard. Look at the difference. I would say kind of Messi's more natural ability, but Ronaldo has created himself to be. He's designed his body to be better at football. His speed, his mindset, and. I wouldn't like to choose which one. If you could have one or the other, I wouldn't like to choose. It'd be a tough decision. You know what I mean? So, I think for me, that's where I become like, be the vision of what's going to happen. And if you can show people that the number one reason people don't get where they want to be is, it's like anything. You pick up a book and you never finish it. How many people do that? They pick up a book, they never finish it. They join a gym. They never get results. Why? Because they don't go and take action. They don't lift the weights. They don't eat the healthy food. Oh, it's the gym's fault. I'm going to cancel.
Yeah.
It's not the gym's fault. It's like the product works. The product works, which is go in there. Everything's set out for you. It's like I was chatting to a guy who's in my business today. I've done every single thing for him so far. I've trained him on everything. And I just said to him, look, man, you've got it all. I've prepped your food. I've laid out the weights. I've written your program. Now you've got to lift those weights.
Absolutely.
Now you've got to do the work. And if you do the work, then it'll come.
The product can work, the business can work, but if you don't work, nothing happens.
Exactly.
Thank you, John. We had some technical issues. The episode came to an abrupt end, but we're going to reconnect next week, and we're going to be recording the second part of this interview. There's lots more value to come from John. Very excited to share a second episode with you all about business success. You're going to find it fascinating, and I can't wait to share that with you. So please hold tight. We'll be back with more. Thanks for listening today. So please subscribe to the Unstoppable Podcast. Do go over to unstoppablepodcast.com. Make sure you're on the email notification list there so that you receive the notification about the next episode coming up shortly. I've got a very special guest next week, a gentleman named Mr. Jonathan Mead, who's just about to launch a very exciting project called The Uncaged Man. I can't wait to share that with you. Until next time, I'm back on Monday. Please share this episode. I look forward to speaking to you soon. Thanks for listening to the Unstoppable Podcast.